poked it home from within 5 yards. Back to Runter. Goes down the line into Robson. Robson helps it on its way to Muru. She flicks it over the top, trying to find Alice. Sitting a little bit deeper than perhaps we'd usually expect. We're leaving Isla Robson forward, but the rest of them are sitting in a LOTTO mid-block. Down the line, a good tackle from Vornovich. Alice. Tidy from Gothard. A little cut from Runter. Lines up the long one. And McQuana's chasing. Nicky White is comfortably there to claim. Brooke. Nishizono. Very fluid. Eastern Suburbs side. Quite a lot of interchanges, particularly with their back line, their midfield. Guys in Kenya Brooke and Yuki Nishizono often stepping up a line. Of course, their new signing, Zoe Barrett, who many of you will know from Wellington United last year in the National League, the Diamonds. Their skipper. She finds herself up in Auckland now, playing for the Lily Whites. Barrett clears, but only as far as Gothard. Gothard gives that one away. Hollington, and then a little flick over the top. Murphy's quick off her line. Sure, nothing comes of that. Robson putting Barrett under a bit of pressure. She's gone back to Nishizono. First corner of the game for Eastern Suburbs. This was one of the flaws for Western Springs in their loss against West Coast Rangers the other week. They conceded many offset pieces. And look, the scoreline, it didn't actually tell accurate tale, especially not in the first half. It was only 2-0, but the first half it was really 50-50, both sides having their chances, but then the second half the floodgates just opened, as they might again here, but it's blocked, and then McQuana clears it, looking for Alice. Good from Alice. Cleanan. Murphy from the goal kick. Let's go short to Runter. Suburbs really locking off one side of the field. Runter forced to go long, trying to find Robson. It's just nodded forward by Kenya Brooke. There's not much point trying to get in an aerial battle with her today. McQuana moves that one up. Gothard tries to bring it down. Runter clears. Anderson. And a little shimmy inside from Metum. McLennan chasing Metum. McLennan gets a foot in, then Anderson. First strike. Takes a few rebounds and finds Amelia McAllister, who's won a goal kick from that. Murphy goes long into McAllister, who's out wide now. She tries to chest it down, but just sees it out of play. Driving now is Barrett. Barrett pokes it down the line, looking for the run of Tawharu. McLennan shimmies inside, but plays a dangerous ball across the face at 18, and the strike from Anderson is wayward. She'll be grateful to him as well. So despite the start to the season, it is important to remember that Western Springs has been a powerhouse in recent years. Finished runners-up in the NRFL League and National League in 2022. They qualified for the National League in 2022, 2023, 2024 and 2025. Won the Kate Shepherd Cup in 23 and became runners-up in 24. So they have had years of recent success, but just the start of the season, following a mass exodus of players, has really squandered their squad ranks. Brooke, the low one. Twan is chasing, battling well. Referee waves, there's nothing in that. Nishizono, your master conductor of the play is Yuki Nishizono. Finlay's offside, but she can direct her header goalwards anyway. So Ranta doesn't really look like she's willing to play out here. Books it out right, out left to Amelia McAllister, but the bounce just takes it away from her. It's always hard with that crosswind and it's just spinning away. You always have to start wider and then come inside to meet it. Brooke goes back to Nishizono. She lets it run for Barrett. This little 1-2, Barrett out the other side to Brooke. It's activated the press of Western Springs. They'll get up a line. Flick in field, and then one again by Finlay. Looking for the offside. Held their line well enough, Western Springs, ensuring that Sammy Tawharu can't get anything on the end of that. So here's Daphne Runter. Wants the direct approach again. Barrett wins the header well. Finlay tries to bring it down, finding Anderson. Tawharu looking for the delicate little dink over the top. Ollington's got the better side of Daphne Runter and she's just slotted it wide. So uncharacteristic of a player of Maddie Ollington's calibre. And it just dribbled wide. She had the Springs backline beaten. Lou Murphy, to her credit, made herself look big and ensured that nothing came of that attack other than a goal kick. The Springs really not eager to play out from the goal kick here. They go long again, but it finds the head of Kenya Brooke. McAllister battling with Finlay. McLennan goes down the line. It's knotted up. Robson's cleared away by Gothard. So that will allow her side to get up the pitch. bounces past just a little bit too heavy, and it runs down to Yuki Nishizono. Barrett, the direct one. Runter heads it down. Mokoana reads it well, but it's pounced upon by Nicole Metum. Sammy Tafano dropping really deep here. She's got quite a free roll, it appears to see. Robson on the half turn. Isla Robson now looking to thread a ball through, but it's well read and cut out by Zoe Barrett. That was crucial. She's been a bright spark in this spring side, has Isla Robson. Joined from Auckland United last year. So this Suburbs side have had 5 players have an equal share of their goals this season. Taylor Anderson, Ella Finlay, Juliet Lucas, Maddie Ollington and Sammy Tafaro all on 1. So 5 goals, 5 goal scorers. As I said before, Maddie Ollington was rather prolific in her short but sweet time at the Swans. That's a little miscued throw there from Nicole Messam. Battle down the sideline, and it will be Springs again to take the throw, just working the line. Macy McLennan. You can say her centre back had a good game. The side loses 7-0, but she did incredibly well on her debut for the Swans, and she had a handful to deal with as well, with marking the likes of Shannon Henson. So definitely a tricky one, but she's earned her spot in the starting side today, most definitely. Murphy to take the goal kick. Goes to Runter. She goes long down the line. Vornovich to throw. Anderson can't quite keep that one in. So if there's one way that you're going to progress up the pitch, it's one way to do it. Not really looking to play out, and rightly so against the press. When you see that front line of Eastern Suburbs, very energetic, very high octane, very difficult to play through, and often does just lead you to going more direct. Fizzed ball in by Barrett. Tafaro sweeps in, trying to regather the second phase. Up on its way to Barrett. Barrett with a nice little touch to get away from Mokoana. Shimmy and a cutback. Mokoana intervenes well. Does go out for a Suburbs throw-in. And you wonder how long it will be until we see the long throw of Kenya Brook deployed. absolutely launch it into the box. It's interesting how football moves in patterns and trends. Only a few years ago, long throw was essentially non-existent, teams looking to play out almost all the time, and now it's one of the primary tactics deployed by a lot of people in teams. The Suburbs side have always pulled their weight in the LOTTO NRFL Women's Premiership. They're 10-time Northern League Women Champions since their first in 1975, so it really does just show you how incredibly successful they've been over the years, and consistently successful as well. As teams and clubs always do, they do have their phases of success and then little downward trends, but always in and around those National League qualification spots. Always sniffing about, and not quite an underdog for the title, but are a very strong side nonetheless. Free kick from Vornovich is given away, and Kenya Brook will look to take the set piece. The left-sided centre back. Brook. Ball in. Murphy claims.
Could we get a tea towel or something? Just like, thank you.
So Murphy looks to roll into Gothard. She tries to flick it around the corner to Bloomfield. It's a tough one though. And Martin has regathered it for the Lily Whites. Nishizono. Murphy spills that one, manages to poke it slightly clear. McLennan does well to prevent anything from happening. And now Makwana's looking to launch a counter-attack. Rolls it into Robson. Robson flicks around the corner for her again. Nice little 1-2. And out for a Suburbs throw, well defended. Alice has pounced on the sloppy pass, but then a tidy little flick from Zoe Barrett sees her side keep possession. Really quality ball playing centre back is Zoe Barrett. She not only plays for well established National League teams, but she has also represented futsal Ferns and Capital Futsal. Real advantage having someone as comfortable on the ball as that in your back line, and then to partner her, the likes of Yuki Nishizono, as well as the physical presence of Kenya Brook. It is a really formidable defensive setup. Just about kept in from Skinlove. Vornovich throws it down the line. Just too much on it. And he goes out for the throw. Clennon into the feet of Mokoana. She tries to poke that round the corner. Ellis on the swivel. Goes back to Vornovich. She lets it run across her body. She plays it down the line to Rosa Muru. Little hook up there from Maddie Ollington. Runter taking no chances. Slings that one out wide. Alice. Little touch, just takes the sting out of it, and it doesn't manage to squeeze through to McAllister. Mokoana going, surging forward now. Stood up by Martin, then Tawharo just double teams her. And that's tidy again from Zoe Barrett. That rain and wind really starting to howl now. Was expected to come through, and it's certainly coming through now. It's really hard to play into that wind. If you are Western Springs, almost all of the long balls just holding up, swirling around, really ugly to deal with. And then of course the flip side for Suburbs, a lot of things may tend to be overhit, so it is really important for both sides to keep the ball on the ground, make the game as tidy as possible. Anderson, Ishizono, Murphy gathers that one. Certainly bucketing down now. Really sudden switch from the sunshine that we had at kickoff. Clennon does well. Mokoana pokes it out to McAllister, who's found herself out wide. She tries to go back in field. Muru surging forward, little chop. Just not quite on the same page as Sammy Tawharo there. Was Nicole Messam. Clouds definitely setting in now. And can be quite a good thing on this turf pitch. A little bit of rain does just help the ball skid across the surface, really helps teams fizz it around, especially teams that want to play possession-based football. But on the flip side, once it does get a little too boggy, it can slow it down. So there's really that sweet spot in between where you can just get it fizzing. Murphy waits for Tawharo to come before she picks it up. Tawharo.
Roasted venom. Sunday, isn't it?
Messam. Infield to Tawharo again. Tawharo with a tidy little flick round the corner to Ella Finlay. Finlay squares it and then going for the dink, but it's a miscued shot from Ollington. And Lou Murphy will be grateful to see that sail past her post. Really tidy little interplay down that right flank, particularly from Sammy Tawharo and Ella Finlay. Just managed to pick out Maddie Ollington. And play of her quality, so expect her to score from there. At least direct the shot on target, but she failed to do so that time. So a little let off there for the Swans. Vornovich brings that one down. And then the afters have been worthy of a foul. There'll be a free kick to Eastern Suburbs in an attacking position. They look to resume play quickly. The referee brings it back. We'll look for a wall here, and perhaps Ishizono could line something up. I mean, that rain and wind is definitely not making it easy for Lou Murphy to see. Strike from Nishizono, whacks into the wall. Then Anderson over the bar. And there's a bit of thunder now echoing in the background. It's just amazing how quickly that set in. Earlier during the day it looked like it's going to be an absolute pearler, and it was throughout the morning, but that set in really quickly and it's bucketing down now. I tell you what, I'm definitely glad that I'm upstairs underneath the safety of the balcony. I would not like to be on that pitch right now. Runter scuffs her goal kick, and now looking to pounce has met him. Interception from Gothard. Barrett's touch just bounces off her shins. And the referee now will just go over to his lino and have a word regarding the weather. There has been a few lightning strikes and it will cause the players to be sent inside. So 2-0 going into a temporary break, so we will see what the weather has in store for us, but rightly so, due to player safety reasons, the game has been just abandoned temporarily. We will resume and provide you with an update soon. But as it stands, the scoreline is 2-0 to Eastern Suburbs. Two very early goals just saw them get ahead of the Swans. So we will keep you updated to see what happens, whether this game will continue.
small update. At this point, the earliest we will be restarting the match will be 4:05, but there's a few variables in play yet. We need the thunder and lightning to stop, and we also need the refs to do an assessment on the pitch. So at the earliest will be 4:05, and I'll update you as I hear any more. I will though take this little opportunity to give a bit of kudos to our sponsors here at Western Springs. We have an amazing set of sponsors here that enable us to put on this and all of our junior youth programs and across the board. So a big thank you to our gold sponsors, Buffett & Thompson, Lotto and McDonald's Felton. And the other sponsors we have here is the New World and Concierge, Number Works and Words, Patchwork Physio, Wanted Pacific, Italian Stone, Westland Palin Paint, Kura Ralph, Victor, Lumen and For You. If you are interested in getting on board with one of our sponsors, come and talk to us up here. We'll give you, we can tell you a little about what's going on and what opportunities there are for you and your businesses. Alright, as the sun comes out here, it's going to probably be a lovely afternoon. We'll speak to you very soon.
And we're back underway after a short intermission. The weather has cleared up a little bit, pitch has dried up a bit. So hopefully it stays clear for the remainder of the game. We're able to see out the full 90 minutes. A little shrug off Eva Vornovich. Sails over for a corner kick following the deflection. Taylor Anderson to take the set piece. In swinging delivery. Suburbs have piled up the back post. Just locked it in towards Finlay. Finlay is battered down by Lou Murphy. But hacks straight back into the danger area and then ricochets off Rosa Muru for another corner. Short set play, and it's parried away again by Murphy at the near post, so another corner, the third in a row. Whether they'll go short. Opt to deliver again. Delivery in towards the back post, just over the head of Kenya Brock. Finlay brings it down, isolated with McLennan. Brock. Pressure from Makwana, tidy little turn, and then releasing Finlay down this right flank. Stood up by McAllister, poked down the line. Ranta gets a foot in. Here, where you might see the long throw of Kenya Brook being deployed. I was speaking about it earlier. It is very dangerous, and go from it now. She launches that in, and it falls just shy of the 6-yard box. Let bounce by Springs, and Gothard pokes it away, but only as far as Brook. She has a go, but it was a wayward effort. They had plenty of venom in the strike, but not quite the direction that she would have desired. To say. Hoofs that one long. Nodded forward by Martin. Alice trying to switch the play. Ricochets off Bloomfield and goes back to Nishizono. Barrett stings that one across the turf to find her opposite centre back and then delivered in towards the back post. Ollington's working to get there. She's got something on it. She's forced in the corner by McAllister. Beats her down the line. Little cutback from Ollington. Pokes into Finlay. Finlay opting to go to the byline again. Looks to recycle. Needham to the edge of the box. Martin into the feet of Ollington. She sets it. And a good read from McLennan. And the strike from Anderson. Sails over the bar. Parried up by Murphy. And it's there. Drop. McAllister. McLennan. cycles through Daphne Ranta. It's lovely shiny skies now, you wouldn't notice that. We were in a thunderstorm a mere 30 minutes ago. It's a hard one to bring down for McAllister. Ranta with some physical defending on Ella Finlay. Thrown in towards Martin. Nishizono. Just so tidy in everything that she does. Yuki Nishizono. And now Sammy Tawharau gets a little nutmeg on Vornovich, but Bloomfield's there. Tawharau battling again. It's hacked away by Katie Gothard. She's having none of that. Nishizono. Barrett with a bit of space to drive into now.
Might be the fourth or it might be the eighth, but we'll go with six.
Brock. Played down the line. Vornovich is there to cover, but Tawharau gets a ball in. It ricochets off Vornovich for another corner. So you suspect it'll be much the same. Taylor Anderson going to take it. Anderson with a strike, and never threatening Lou Murphy's goal. Play will resume from the goal kick again. So I was talking before about the success that Springs and Suburbs have both had in recent times, and Eastern Suburbs formed in 1934 through the amalgamation of Tamaki United and Glen Innes. They were National League champions in 2022, NRFL Premier Grade champions in 2021, Kate Shepherd Cup winners in 2019. So both sides in the late teens, early 20s have had masses of success. Finlay with a little pivot. Goes out the other side to Nishizono. Slings that one out. Trying to find Sammy Tawharau, but just bobbles out of play. McLennan. So Amelia McAllister back to McLennan. Go to Gothard. Positive first touch. Looking to break the line now with a pass. Finds Maquano out wide. Well defended from Zoe Barrett. But pounced on again by McAllister. McLennan with a poor touch, and it's rolled through to Maddie Ollington. Ollington isolated with Daphne Ranta. Ranta does well to force her wide. Ollington still going. And then back across the face, and it was just wide from Erica Skinlove. Unlucky not to direct that one goalwards. It was brilliant work from Maddie Ollington. And the strike just wasn't caught as cleanly as Skinlove would have liked. It was just dinked it. And, I mean, one would presume that she wasn't really trying to, but ended up just wide the frame of Lou Murphy's goal. Ranta. Barrett brings it down. Fizzes the ball back through the middle. Just left for Murphy to regather.
They won't worry about the
Vornovich. McAllister. To Jess Ellis. It's a hard one for her to deal with though, and possession's been turned over high up the field. Now Tawharau. Brooke back to Tawharu. Kept playing a much more free role with Sammy Tawharu than she did at Springs. At Springs she was quite often the sole striker in a 4-3-3. She appears to be floating around quite a bit. Dropping down into the midfield, taking a roll up on the top line, finding herself on the left. McLennan throws that one in field. Tidy little turn now. McAllister opts to cut back. Bit of a shirt pull. Advantage waved. Bornovich. Sloppy touch. Sees it roll out of play. Gothard finding Alice. Alice with a little nutmeg on Kenya Brook and trying to force it down the line for Isla Robson, who's received little to no service today. Very hard to occupy that striker role when you're just not really getting the ball. Cut out by Vornovich and then cleaned up again by Aka Bloomfield. Murphy playing out to Ranta. Ranta's clearance ricochets off Sammy Tawharu. Will be a goal kick. Not long to go here in this first half. Of course, it has been a lengthy first half due to the stoppage and the little intermission for the weather. You show some of this picture now, and you never would have expected that we had to halt the game for half an hour because we had thunder and lightning. All of a sudden, there's no wind and blue skies. That's Auckland weather for you. You get all 4 seasons in one day. I'm not lying. Gets him forced back to take the throw. Ball's going out of play. McLennan goes down the line. Alice. Swarmed by Martin and Anderson, but she's done well just to see it back to McLennan, but her pass is given away. Vornovich intervenes well. And then Gothard looking to pounce on the second ball. She's dragged back by Ella Finlay. So that will brandish a foul.
Yellow. Oh, really?
Ranta will line us one up. It's got a straight ball into Alice, who's brought it down, but it just sneaks away from her.
Yeah.
Square pass out to Gothard. Pokes it wide to McAllister. McAllister driving inside now. Does well, actually. And then Alice, little cut back. McAllister again. To Muru. Intercepted by Anderson. And now, looking to pounce. Just slowed up well enough. Tawharu still in possession of the ball. Finds Kenya Brook out wide. Driving down the line now. Isolated with Alice. And Alice does enough, but Brook manages to get a ball in. And it's a big swing from Daphne Ranta. She manages to get a touch on it to find Sienna Makwana. Makwana now driving inside. The skipper sprays it out to Rosa Muru. She can drive now. Tries to roll it down the line for Robson. Robson combining with Alice. There's a battle down the other end of the pitch that we saw just before. And Kenny Brook comes out with the best of that. Tawharo pokes it forward, and now driving. Skinlov sails past Vornovich, cuts back onto that right foot. Delivery towards the back post, not a clear by Makwana. Skinlov again. Takes a little shimmy and a touch past Vornovich before it's thwacked into Matty Ollington, and then Vornovich again with a solid challenge. Met him. To Martin. Trying to slide that one through, and it rolls harmlessly to Lou Murphy in goal. Hey, Dan. McLennan. Farah brings that one down and finds her goalie, Nikki White. Brook. And that is half time, so after an hour and 20 minutes from kickoff, we finally have the break. And two very early goals put Suburbs ahead. But other than that, they still have had the better of the chances. The Springs have held their own so far. Despite a small lapse in concentration in the opening 5 minutes. Scoreline reads 2-0 at the half. And we'll be back here following the break to resume the second. Started underway for the second half as Suburbs look to kick things off quickly. So, after an hour and a half since the first whistle blew, we are underway for the second half. For those that didn't see in the first half, we did have a 30-minute intermission just to clear off the thunder and lightning that was going on in the area. But we're back underway now as Allington tries to forge something out of nothing. Cut back to Martin. Robson reads it well. Makwana, little shimmy. Finds Alice. Alice back to Makwana. Robson battling, but it's well read from Barrett. Barrett fires one across field to Kenya Brook. Brook now lining up the delivery. It's towards the back post. Ranta clears. Sammy Tuffeto's straight offside in the build-up there, so it will be called back. And Western Springs will have a free kick from just on their 18-yard box. So a little breather for them. And it really is amazing. You look at the picture now, and we've got blue skies and virtually no wind. You compare that to 45 minutes ago. It was howling, bucketing down. The sky was lit up with thunder and lightning, big dark clouds surrounding us. It was just the magic of Auckland's infamous weather. Barrett out wide to Brook. Brook now dinking it in the box. Ranta clears, but it's sent backwards. Muru isolated one-on-one with two number 18s with Skinlov. Skinlov's got the better of her, and then the cross just bounces off Vornovich for the corner. So Martin and Nishizono will stay on halfway to deal with the threat of Robson and Ellis. The rest of them will pack the box. Sammy Tuffero just occupying a space on the edge of the 18. And of course Taylor Anderson will deliver the corner. Anderson nodded forward. And out of play for a goal kick. Suburbs aren't happy about that one. They were convinced that the header ricocheted off a Springs head. It should have been another corner. So obviously under instructions just to play a little bit more direct. Ranta goes to Murphy, and then Murphy back to Ranta, but she wasn't quite ready for it. And it's given away, so no doubt they should be going back to the long goal kick. Long throw from Brook. Just shy of the 6 yard. Martin. Out to Brook again. It's isolated with Muru. Cut across the face of goal. And bundled in by Taylor Anderson, and she's added a third to the away side. So it's 3-0 now, the scoreline. And it was a well-worked goal. It came from the initial press from the goal kick, really, and just forced the error, and then it allowed Kenya Brook to launch a throw-in, and after a little phase of play, Taylor Anderson just struck it home from within 6 yards, and she was never missing from there. And so they've added a buffer to their 2-goal lead, and now have a third. And Springs will still be looking to grab a goal or two, of course, but it is looking like the 3 points is going to evade them for another game. Anderson brings it down. Nishizono out to Brook. So it's interesting how this back three operate. Kenya Brook does take a lot more of an advanced role, particularly in position. It does leave Nishizono almost playing as like a sweeper. Of course, that does enable her to have a bit more freedom and utilise her ball playing ability and actually be a little bit of a deep line playmaker in the heart of defence. And then Zoe Barrett provides that insurance. So they almost do commit just 2 back a lot of the time and allow Kenya Brook to get a bit more advanced up the field and try to create opportunities. And we've seen that she has done that so far with, she's slung in many crosses. Good from Hollington, driving inside. Barrett now. Barrett going for the dink, but it's wide of Murphy's framework. Long ball from Runter, tapped down by Anderson, and then regathered again. McLennan intervenes. Well, Anderson comes bounding in, making sure Makwana didn't get any contact on that. There's the away side ready. A triple substitution rather, with Anna McPhee, Rebecca Van Wart and Juliet Lucas.
To wake up.
They're away by Ranta. Half chance for Robson. Nishizono intervenes. Such a tidy defender and a really good reader of the play is Yuki Nishizono. Diagonal ball from Barrett, and it just skims over everyone's head, but it is kept in play by Skinlov. Skinlov fizzed across the 18. Brook now. Kenya Brook looking to dink that one in. Forge something. Ranta hacks it up. Just buys her side time. Not so much distance. Met him. Sent backwards. Cleared away. Barrett has plenty of space and time now. Barrett with a little shimmy, then cuts back inside. She's robbed of possession. Now Makwana looking to forge something here from the counter-attack. She's brought down by Sammy Tafaro. And it will be a yellow card. And a tactical foul just to prevent the break. She didn't have much help, Sienna Makwana, but she certainly could have been dangerous individually. And Sammy Tafaro recognised that. And here comes the triple substitution with Stacey Martin, Ella Finlay, and Sammy Tafaro coming off. And on coming Anna McPhee, Juliet Lucas, and Rebecca Van Dor. So, 3 substitutions for the away side.
Anna McPhee.
Rebecca
Van Dort will take up a position
and Juliet
on the
Lucas.
left side of the back three, and that allows Kenya Brook to get a little bit higher. Anna McPhee will play somewhere in the middle of the park, and then Juliet Lucas will be on the right of that front two, so a like-for-like swap with Sammy Tawhuru. A strike. Ricocheted off Nikki White, but the strings follow up just too far away. Van Dort. Kenya Brook trying to squeeze it through to the substitute, Juliet Lucas, but she's strayed offside in the build-up, so nothing coming of that attacking opportunity. Will fall back for a foul prior to the offside. So it will be a free kick to Suburbs. And Kenya Brook to deliver. Brook with a good ball. And then McPhee with a strike on the edge of the box. And it's blazed wide from Anna McPhee. One of those I mentioned before that was formerly of green and white. It's an important player. And I think in Katie Duncan's system last year, deployed as one of the 6s or 10s. Anderson to deliver towards the back post. It's left by everyone, and then Barrett tries to bring it down, but Mokoana's there. Nishizono just leaning into Robson. McPhee does the same. Mokoana bringing it down. Robson now. A little spin. But Nishizono composes ever, reads the ball and intercepts the pass. And Dort out to Brook. Infield to McPhee and then back out to Brook again. Hollington gets it down. And then Mirror. Murphy comes off the line together, that one. Just scooped up. Lou Murphy wasn't starting in goal in the opening few games this season. She was current strength and conditioning coach. Now that Murphy's back and fit, Herbs can resume her normal role of strength and conditioning. Alice, with sidey touch. She's swarmed. McPhee now. Anna McPhee looking for the ball over the top of McLennan. An unlucky handball from Eva Vornovich as the ball just bounced up. She couldn't really do anything about it. Nothing malicious in there. And McPhee has a strike from the edge of the 18 after the free kick was taken quickly. Nishizono. There's a little rotation here for Suburbs. McPhee trying to spin out of it. Barrett takes a good positive first touch to beat the press. Nishizono. Fee just circulating. Metum tries to get the ball in. Vornovich clears. Brought down by Robson. And then a crucial intervention from Zoe Barrett to prevent Sienna Makwana from breaking that line. It's not the first time she's made one of those sliding intercepts this game. Both incredibly important interventions. So they're really starting to control the tempo now. Kenya Brook. Brook trying to squeeze it across the face of goal. And swooping in to add a fourth to the tally. The substitute, Juliet Lucas, in the right place at the right time to get a fourth for the Lily Whites.
And the fourth there to the substitution, number 34, Juliet Lucas.
So, the fourth added to Suburbs, and there will be a few substitutions now as Rosa Muru and Macy McLennan make their way from the field.
Substitutions for both
And
teams.
on
For Western
comes
Springs coming to the
Ruby
sideline is
Harwood
Rosa Muru and Macy
Lorena
McLennan,
Aguirre Gonzalez.
replaced by
And then
Ruby
for
Hayward.
Suburbs, Zoe Barrett will come off as well as Nicole Messam. And on will come
And
Zoe
Lorena
Brazier
Aguirre Gonzalez.
and Emily
And
Pilbrow.
for Eastern
So all
Suburbs,
five
wearing number
substitutes
4
used
is Emily
for
Pilbrow.
Eastern Suburbs now.
And for 14, Zoe Brazier.
We get back underway. Ryla Robson. Runter goes down the line. So Aguirre Gonzalez will take a place on the right. Looks like Springs have folded into a flat back four. That introduction. Be interesting to see how they set up throughout the rest of the game, and also throughout Ben Bates' tenure as coach. He did play a very different system in terms of the positional side of the game during his stint at Auckland United, where he was incredibly successful, I must say. So it'll be interesting to see whether he sticks with the club system that both the men's and the women's side play, that trademark 3-4-3 with the 2 6s and 2 10s. Can be very hard to deal with if done right. Or whether he goes back to his known and trusted 4-3-3. Dort just headed that one clear into the midfield, and a little scuffle sees Ruby Harwood come away with it. So it will take time for Ben Bate to have his impact on this team. It is of course very early doors. Van Dort with a direct approach. Just let run for Murphy to gather. Of course, that new 8-second rule as well for goalkeepers in terms of handling the football. Used to be that kind of voluntarily enforced 6-second rule, where the keepers could really hold on to it for as long as they liked, and it was up to the referees to enforce when they wanted 6 seconds to be imposed. But now it is just a flat 8-second rule. And you do have to say it does get the game going much quicker, and it prevents time wasting as such. hacked forward. The strike lined up, smacks the back of Vornovic. Then Aka Bloomfield intervenes and pokes it clear. Nishizono. And Dort fizzing it down the line for Kenya Brook. Kenya Brook battling with Aguirre Gonzalez, and she's lost out in that one in terms of discipline, and Springs have the throw in to show for it. Jess Ellis is bundled over, pushing the back. Incredibly interesting to see, as we were talking about it before, with the introduction of Ben Bate. Not only with what positional structure that he introduces to the side, but also the style of play. Both his side, Auckland United, as well as the Springs current club system, tend to play possession-based styles of football, despite being different structures. But you have to think, with the personnel that they currently have and the way they've been playing so far this season, what's best for them? Is it still best for them to continue looking to play and try to build out, or do they go with a more direct approach and maybe perhaps the quote-unquote more unattractive football style? They go a little bit more direct and they shore themselves up at the back, perhaps commit a few less numbers forward and a bit more defensively. So it'll be something to see, something interesting to watch over the next few weeks or months that Ben Bate has in charge of this side. Van Dort to throw. Down the line. Brought down well from Juliet Lucas. Gothard looking for support. Pops to recycle. Lucas is hunting. Lovely little shot from Daphne Ranta. McPhee going to play that ball out wide. McAllister just gets a very important touch on it. She's still working, Amelia McAllister. Try and dispossess Zoe Brazier. But Brazier's done well. Cuts it back towards the edge of the 18, the strike. And it's gone in for a fifth. A tidy finish on the edge of the box. And the fifth just sails past Lou Murphy into the bottom right corner. And it was all the work of Zoe Brazier just to get the better of her defender, McAllister, who managed to slow her down enough, but didn't really manage to prevent any crosses or balls from going across the box. And it was well left. And then just really composed finish on the edge of the 18. So Suburbs have a fifth. Shizono to Anderson. And Dort.
That is not a flower.
Nishizono. Rolled out wide, now driving forward. Quina steps in and then Gothard does so again. It's tidy from Katie Gothard to release Lorena Aguirre Gonzalez. Aguirre Gonzalez's pass just lacking accuracy. Now Suburbs looking to craft something in the form of Anna McPhee. Super energetic players, Anna McPhee. Lucky enough. And it's rattled against the crossbar. It's no goal. It was some appeals from Juliet Lucas, although they were quite half-hearted. Murphy goes long. Anderson looking to clean up. Van Dort looking for the crossfield pass. McAllister manages to see it out and poke it forward. She's kept it in and just forced the ricochet off Erica Skinlove. Be a double substitution. Off comes Isla Robson and Casey Gothard for Maya D'Souza and Rory Waldron. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. D'Souza, who's been playing centre back, looks to have taken it on the roll up top. And Rory Waldron, who has also been playing centre back, assumes a role in the midfield. So, an interesting shuffle of the cards there from Ben Bate, just trying something different. D'Souza working. Anderson. Really playing with freedom now, Suburbs, and that freedom comes with a 5-goal buffer. Springs can keep it at 5. Sounds bad, but it will be an improvement on the last few results. Van Dort into Anderson. A real orchestrator of the play has Taylor Anderson today. Ollington, who's had a relatively quiet second half by her standards. Rory Waldron into the feet of Jess Ellis. Finds McQuana, who's drifted out wide. Waldron again. Sliding in, but skipping past. And now looking to release Maddie Ollington, whose touch lets her down. And Lou Murphy's there to sweep it up. So the intensity starting to fizzle out of this game after the action-packed first half, which was split into 2 segments, and then a flurry of action early on the second half has sealed the deal for Suburbs, and they are really playing now just with the confidence, and it will be good for them in terms of their challenge this season. They are a highly competitive team, and we've seen almost a duopoly of sorts in recent years between West Coast Rangers and Auckland United, and Suburbs and Springs have both been in that area recently as well. Of course, there was back when Ryan Faithful was the head coach of Western Springs, and that side really challenging the Suburbs. At one point they were so close it came to the last day of the season. That's a brilliant sliding challenge from Daphne Ranta to ensure that Juliet Lucas doesn't get a shot off. Murphy with a goal kick. Looks like Ranta will take it and go long again. Their one attempt to play out didn't quite go to plan the last time they did it, so opt to go for a more direct approach. Strike. Pack plenty of punch, but not enough direction. Aldrin dispossessed. Ollington with the try and a little flick around the corner. She still managed to hold on to the ball. And then Harwood intervenes, sends that long. It's brought down so silkily from Nishizono. So composed. And the heart of that Suburbs defence. With and without the ball, she does just coordinate everything. Dictates the tempo of games so well. Knows exactly when to take the sting out of it and when to speed it up after breaking a line. She is really crucial to the Suburbs side. McPhee back out to Van Dort. Helped on down the line. Now Brooke playing it across the face of goal. Cutback didn't quite phase Springs. And D'Souza now chasing. Delivery into the box. It's flicked on and just offside from Juliet Lucas. Lucas. Murphy's left it. Lucas with the strike. And Lucas with the goal. And the substitute adds a 6 to the tally for the away side. Juliet Lucas with a composed finish. Just past Lou Murphy's goal into the bottom right corner. Straight across. And that's her second goal today for the substitute. So she came on. She has made her mark for Adam Thurston's side. It is another tough result for the Swans to take. Just be looking for a goal at this point to get their season underway. It's quite a hard one to go through, especially as a player. Very, very hard to find motivation to play and really dig in. That grittiness is what gets you through tough games when you're just struggling with the quality. You're getting beaten 13-0, 7-0 and now 6-0. It's really hard on the players mentally and physically. The physical aspect of the game is really underrated. Quite often they have large extended periods without the ball, and that can just run them into the ground, and that extra fatigue does just cause the floodgates to open, as we've seen here, as Runter is forced into the corner, slides it down the line to Vornovich, who's dispossessed by Kenya Brook. Brook with a strike, but it's really a pot shot. Straight in the palms of Blue Murphy. McAllister. Right. Brazier goes back to Skinlock. Alice's work rate gets a shout of approval from the new head coach, Ben Bate.
It's in there, mate.
And the substitute for the Swans now. Off comes Amelia McAllister, and on to take her place, Sylvie Porter. So the final substitution for Ben Bates' side.
Western Springs, final substitution, Sylvie Porter coming on.
Who hasn't played so far this season.
Replacing Amelia McAllister.
That delivery just had too much on it from Emily Pilborough. Just under 10 minutes of normal time to be played. Brought down by Van Dort. Ushered down the line. Vornovich with a strong challenge. Comes away with a throw. Into the feet of Alice. And be interesting to see whether Kenya Brook deploys the long throw here. It's a little bit far out, but it looks like she's going to go for it anyway. She's absolutely launched that one in, and it has caused some troubles with McPhee on the edge of the 18. McQuana for Bloomfield. Finding Harwood out to Porter. Porter pokes it infield. McQuana trying to turn again. Back to Porter. Sylvie Porter isolated here. And brilliant one-on-one defending from Zoe Brazier, who tracked back very well and just thwarted that. That's Pilbrow. It's the feet of McPhee with a reverse pass. McPhee, well left by Anderson. Van Dort, looking for support. Nishizono. Back to Van Dort. Just moving it around well now. Van Dort out to Brook in this advanced position. Brook gets a ball in. Runter gets a touch on it. Not fully cleared though. Aldrin slides in. And then the strike. And Murphy manages to parry it wide. Definitely Runter has stayed down following those challenges. She has had her work cut out for her today, the central centre-back of Springs. And Sienna McQuana will get some instructions and some refreshments alongside Jess Ellis. And just while we've got this little stoppage in play, we'll just talk about the results from elsewhere in the league. So if you didn't see the the Melville and West Coast Rangers game ended in a 10-4 scoreline, with West Coast Rangers coming away with a win. Auckland United took on Tauranga Moana yesterday, and that resulted in a 5-1 win for United. And on Friday night, Fencibles put 3 past Ellerslie to win 3-0. So that's the last game of the round 5 of the NRFL Women's Premiership. And Daphne Runter stayed down for quite a lengthy time here. And Bate will be hoping that she's okay. Already struggling with personnel. Get some strapping and we'll have to make her way to the sidelines for some treatment. So it will be a resulting corner for Suburbs. In swinging left-footed delivery. Flicked on by D'Souza towards Ollington at the back post, and a vicious volley wasn't directed goalward by Maddie Ollington. And Runter's allowed back on the field of play. It looks like she'll be going up top and doing a straight swap with Maya D'Souza. So, 2 centre-backs alternating between the roles of striker and centre-back. D'Souza to take. Goes long. It's nodded forward and then chested down by Ollington. Vornovich does well to intervene. Then D'Souza clears her lines into the Lily White's dugout. Van Dort. Throw that one in field. It's well left by Aka Bloomfield. Vornovich. And then the clearance away from D'Souza. Alice with a little shimmy. Rory Waldron's done incredibly well there to avoid being dispossessed, but Suburbs counter press is sufficient enough to regather. Aquano just looking for the foul. Referee doesn't see anything in that. Aquana. It's the feet of Alice now. Aguirre Gonzalez committed. Now Ollington. Forced wide. Brooke. Delivery towards the penalty spot. McPhee on the edge of the 18 has a go. Lou Murphy does well. Murphy prods that one upfield. Bloomfield with a physical challenge to dispossess Anna McPhee. Ollington swarmed. Waldron going through McPhee and then D'Souza clearing her lines again. Nishizona with a direct little lofted ball. Kenya Brook opts to go backwards from the throw-in to Rebecca Van Dort. Van Dort driving inside now. There's plenty of space. She can line one up. Straight into Vornovich and then cleared away by Gia Gonzalez. So we've hit the 90th minute. Not too long to go. Ball lofted in to Sousa Clares. It's a good read from Bloomfield. She continues her own press. Suburbs just happy to circulate it. Van Dort. Gia Gonzalez intercepts. Now McPhee lining up the pot shot. And Lou Murphy watches it sail comfortably wide of her goal. Sousa. Runter flicks it on. Just out of play. Foul from Sienna Makwana on Emily Pilbrow. Just be careful with those ones. Very easy way to get yourself a yellow card, find yourself in the referee's book. There's never really too much in it. It's just the lateness of it and the lack of intent to actually win the football. The ball's already gone. It's already out. But sometimes frustration does just get the better of you, especially when you're 6-0 down. It can be quite hard to control. Strong header. Lucas trying to skip past 1-2. Vornovich and Waldron cut that one out. Gia Gonzalez now down the line. Nishizono with plenty of time. Vornovich clears. Runter finding Makwana. Makwana with a little chop. Cuts back again, Sienna Makwana. Just to force a ball through. And that will be full time here at Seddon Fields, and it's another unfortunate result for the Western Springs Premier Women's side, who go down 6-0 to Eastern Suburbs, who were by far the better side on the day. And that's not quite the start that Ben Bate was looking to have at his new role as the head of women's football at Western Springs, but he will be given the chance to improve.
For the game, 6-0 for Eastern Suburbs.
Hope that they do, for the sake of their season and the sake of the club. So, the final scoreline here today: Eastern Suburbs 6, Western Springs 0.
Other scores today, West Coast Rangers took down Melbourne 10-4 in Melbourne. Yesterday, Auckland United beat Tauranga Moana 5-1 at home. And Fencibles on Friday night beat LZ 3-0. Next Saturday, we're away to Ellerslie. 5 p.m. kickoff. And we'll see you back here on, I think it's May the 3rd, where we'll be playing Fencibles here at 3 o'clock.